Hey, brother.
Hey, Al.
And welcome everyone back to another episode of Siblings in Crime. I'm Allie Rossell.
And I'm Blake Murphy.
And just as it sounds, we're siblings who love true crime.
Yes, love it.
Love it. Yes. And if you haven't, please like, subscribe, because we love all the support even more so.
More.
More, please. We are so grateful for all your support. It has been so fun. It's been so awesome. And we just want to keep it rolling.
Yep. That's it. Amen, sister.
Amen.
Legitimate sister.
Wow, nice. Literal, not figurative.
Yeah. Amen, sister in blood.
Wow. Well said. Well, do you have anything before I get into this week's case? Do you have a song you've been singing?
Yeah, there's a couple songs. But one of them is, I've been running down the road trying to loosen my load. I got 7 women on my mind.
That's enough.
4
Thank
that
you.
want to own me, 2 that
Okay.
want to stone me, 1, she's a friend of mine. Taking it easy.
Okay.
All right.
We're going to learn how to harmonize so that for true crime news, we can really hit that note right.
Yeah. The other one is, I said, do you speak in my language?
Yeah, I don't know any of those words. I
He
should
just
do
smiled
this.
and gave me yeah. I come from the line down under.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you're getting into your lip singing phase.
Thanks. It feels good.
I feel like a new man.
Feels like I can express myself.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well,
I feel like music needs to be playing right now. I just feel so quiet in here.
that's true. It is very
Probably
quiet.
because the AC was blowing so hard it was louder earlier. But.
True. Well, we're going to get right into it. This case might be a little shorter depending on how much we yip, but today's podcast is a little different. I didn't give you a heads up on that. I have 2 shorter stories I'm going to tell you that have a little bit of a
You need to
reveal.
warn me about this.
Womp womp. Have a little bit of a reveal at the end of each.
Okay.
So I'm curious what you think. I also love to know what everyone else is thinking, what kind of podcast you guys like, what's interesting. So let us know, because we're going to try something a little new today. So.
Interesting.
And you're nervous now.
I'm never scared.
Good. Well, so let us know what you think. Thank you again for all the support. I'm just going to hop right into it. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's roll. So, there's a man I want to tell you about. His name is Dave. This is not an intro, so you can talk to me.
Oh.
We just did our Let's Roll, by the way.
Oh, that was the intro.
Yep, that was
Cool.
the intro.
All right. I was like, I think she went ahead and did the let's go roll first, but
Yep, that was just my intro because I have 2 different stories, so that's just going to cover them both. So his name is Dave, and on the surface, Dave is about as normal as a person can be. He's a retired school teacher, East Tennessee guy, born and raised. He spent decades standing in front of classrooms full of kids, teaching them, shaping them, helping them be the best they can. You know, as teachers do.
yeah. Did he take his job serious?
Took his job serious. According to some resources, he might have been former school board member even.
Whoa.
So I think that tells you a little something.
He likes education.
Education. Unless that was false information in a resource, then he was not part of the board.
Still likes education.
Right. I feel like you always hear like the teachers like, this teacher changed my life. I don't think I had that. Do you?
Me neither.
You have a teacher that stood out at all?
One of my teachers ruined coffee smell for my life.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Mr. Case.
Oh.
Who are you going to say?
Mine's junior high. I can't remember. She was my English teacher. I don't even remember her name right now.
Oh.
That's
This
the
was
thing.
4th grade.
Yeah, I don't even remember.
He had coffee brewing all day, every day.
But Mr. Case was kind of cool. He's got the drums going.
That was true. That was random, huh? I forgot about that.
So random. Like, you could stay in at recess and, like, have him just play the drums for you instead. I didn't have him, but, like, sometimes on rainy days, we'd go to his class.
He was super short. Probably
Yeah.
just drank so much coffee.
You think that's from coffee?
I don't know. I heard coffee stunts the growth.
Well, my 7th grade English teacher was also very tiny, so I would not be surprised. Well, I don't know how much this Dave is shaping everyone's lives or not. I love when people have a teacher that they just love and appreciate. I feel like I didn't really have that. Everyone was great. It was fine. I made it out, and that's great.
My Spanish teacher was so annoying. She's the only one that didn't shape anything.
Oh, that's too bad. You're like, I can give you examples of who didn't shape my life.
Yeah, I forget her name. She's kind of a douche.
That's too bad. Well, and you went on to learn Spanish, so who'd have thought?
I'm probably better than her.
Oh, okay. Well, by the time the story takes place, Dave is 72 years old. So,
all these old people.
I know, just like last week, we got another old man.
Yeah, last week.
He's retired now, living in a condo at a golf and country club in Tazewell, Tennessee. So, same type of vibe as every podcast ever, small town type community.
Maybe we stay away from small towns.
Yeah, and maybe this isn't necessarily a small town, but like a small community.
Yeah, like Prague or wherever, Perth or something. You're like
Australia ends up being a huge metropolitan area. I was like, how come? Like, I must have spelt it wrong when I was looking it up or something. But when I Googled that, I was like, dang, I really butchered the population on this. I'm thinking like 2,000 people. Lo and behold, like 220,000 people. Anyways, he was kind of a loner type, I guess. He had his dog. He just played golf, living his best retired life. That's Dave. So now living in a condo community obviously means you have neighbors real close by.
Yeah.
And
sometimes you hear stuff you don't want to hear.
Tell me about it. When you have neighbors, though, you also have rules. So at the Wood Lake Lodge Golf and Country Club in Tazewell, like this place, I don't know if it's more strict than other places.
Where's Tazewell again?
We're in Tennessee.
Oh, yes. East Tennessee.
Yeah. So it had its rules, of course, and it wasn't like absurd rules. Like some HOAs, really rough. This is like, okay, you got to keep your dog on a leash is one of the biggest ones. And Dave did not like that rule. Sometimes that reminds me of Dad.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Really?
Yeah. It's like, this rule doesn't make sense. I'm going to break it.
No, doesn't apply to me. Thanks for the suggestion.
Yeah. Cops come be like, yeah, I mean, this rule's stupid, right, guys?
You got to back me up. Yeah, Dad is funny about, I tell Brett that, I'm like, every rule was pretty optional.
Yeah.
Like, unless it was like law, it was pretty optional.
Yeah.
Well, this like place, I looked it up because I was like, I don't want to make the same population mistake. But it seems like it's like half resort hotel. The other half has like residents on the other side. Blah, Dad. Pish posh.
Dad, they can't have their leashes up.
Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah.
And our dogs never came back when he whistled anyway, so it's even worse. Our dogs are just
Molly!
no discipline whatsoever with these
just
dogs.
runs back to the neighbor's house.
Oh, classic. Yeah. So, yeah, maybe Dad and Dave would have kind of seen eye to eye a little bit at this point. But anyways, like I was saying, so there's a residential side, and then you have people coming and going on the other side where the hotel and everything was. So back to Dave's dog. He had a tendency of roaming around, unleashed, across the grounds of the club, and this had been going on for a while now. So the man who finally decided to say something about it, his name was Jonathan Matthew Jones. He was 32 years old, and as you probably guessed, was the president of the HOA. Dun, dun, dun. Our HOA is great, like of our law in Saratoga, so strict. Like they're intense, and they won't do anything digital. And I was like, I'm never in town. I'm not checking my mail regularly. Like, sorry, you didn't hear about it. I'm like, we have to write letters to each other. It was horrible. So they need a little update. But obviously, if you live anywhere with an HOA, you already know the president can have a little bit of a stereotype. You know, they're rule followers. They like things done a certain way, typically. His whole job is to knock on doors and tell people what they don't want to hear. So, obviously not an
I feel like people would vote, want to do that.
Like, you can't be looking away when he's talking to it. Good.
I don't get why people would want to do that.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. That's why it's a stereotype. Is because if you want to do that, you may have a type of personality that wants to be telling people what to do a little bit. Yeah. And now that's not all HOA, I'm sure. But they're the ones that are going to let you know that, hey, your dog's on a leash. Hey, like, your weeds in your flower bed are overgrown, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't have not all HOA people have a great rep in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Well, so on one afternoon, a Tuesday, August 2015, Jonathan walks over to Dave's place. It's just before 1:30 in the afternoon, and he's going to have a word with Dave about the dog. Jonathan reportedly brought this up before, so this wasn't like the first time. This was kind of like, hey, I've told you repeatedly, like, you got to do something about this. And Dave did not take that well. So here's what investigators say happened next. Dave is standing outside his condo. Jonathan's standing there too, having what's supposed to be like a regular conversation of like, hey, you got to get this together. At some point during that conversation, Dave walked inside, or he reached inside, depending on the source. But whatever way, all the accounts agree on he went in, and when he came back out, he had a golf iron. And Dave, the 72-year-old retired school teacher, swung the club at Jonathan Jones at least 9 times. He connected 6 of them. So 6 times the club made contact. And if that wasn't enough, Dave was also throwing punches. Like, hit him, throw the golf club down, start beating him up.
He's having a bad day.
I guess.
He snapped.
He snapped. All because he got told he got to put his dog on a leash. So that's the part I think Dad wouldn't really get along with Dave as much. Yeah. But this guy...
That was it. Bah!
Yeah. Humbug. This guy is literally... Dave is beating the HOA man. Mm-hmm. So Jonathan Jones, the homeowners association president, who came over to talk about a dog, now is ending up in a hospital because of it.
Jeez.
And then this is such a weird detail, but I'm like, dang, must have had a really bad day. Because after the golf club, after the punches, Dave reached over, took Jonathan's sunglasses right off his face, dropped on the ground, and stomped on him.
Oh.
It's like unnecessary, man.
Yeah.
Over the top.
Yeah.
Deputies later arrived and took away the bags of golf clubs from his property as evidence. Dave was arrested and charged with aggravated assault and vandalism. Why vandalism? The vandalism charged for his sunglasses.
Oh, I was going to say, like, isn't that his house?
Yeah. I know. You automatically think, like, spray painting a house for some reason. Yeah, no, just damage a property from breaking the sunglasses. Mm. So the county sheriff's office, like the chief deputy, his name's Wayne Lee, he described the attack that, like, he said this. He said the victim said he swung at him 8 or 9 times, hit him 6, and he also hit him several times in the face with his fist. And so obviously that's all you need to know is the witness getting beat up, and he makes that statement. Mm-hmm. So Dave was taken to the county jail at 72 years old. Golf club in hand, or he had a golf club in hand, and he was booked on aggravated assault. So, Dave's full name is David William Chesney, and he has a son named Kenny Chesney.
No way.
Yeah, the very famous, successful country musician.
It's like, Dad.
I know, you're making me look bad. He's like the multiple Entertainer of the Year award guy with stadium tours, all like decades of chart-topping hits.
Let's sing one of his songs.
Yeah, let's sing one of his songs. So Kenny Chesney's 72-year-old dad beat his HOA president with a golf club over a dog leash complaint.
Dang.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
And that is my first story.
Oh, wow. That's a quick one.
I know. The second one is longer, but that's the kind of reveal I said that is going to be at each one. And I thought that was so interesting. I was like, and actually the reason I know about this is because Brett told me that he was listening to a podcast, and this guy, the host, was like neighbors with Kenny Chesney's dad during this time or something along those lines. And when Dave beat his HOA, the HOA guy.
When the sun goes down.
Wow, beautiful.
When the sun goes down. Feeling all right.
Nice.
When the sun.
So now, every time you listen to Kenny Chesney, it might be a little difficult to not think of the poor HOA man.
Yeah, and I'm going to be like, fun fact, did you know his dad just totally beat up a guy?
Another fun fact, did you know that Goodles is like the top macaroni brand right now? I'm trying to learn my facts.
Yeah. Ali was like, did you know that mac and cheese is the most famous pasta or something? I was like, what?
I know. I don't even know if I got that fact right. It's just the fact that Goodles is doing really well in sales. Oh. Brett looks at sales, and he told me that the other day. So that's all I know. Anyways, kind of a crazy twist. Yeah. Kenny Chesney's dad. Who would have thought?
Who would have?
Don't embarrass your son, Dave.
Yeah.
Well, on to the next. Because this second story is a different kind of story. It's much heavier, much sadder. This other one was kind of funny because everyone lived and it was fine. Yeah. But at the end of it, there's a reveal as well. But it's not a fun reveal. It's one of those reveals that reframe everything. It just kind of hits home. So...
You want to know a case we should do soon? Huh? But maybe we both research and you share it, but I like add in stuff.
What's that?
Is the Murdoch case.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Oh, we could do like a 3-parter.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, because he just got, like, they have to retry him basically right now, I think.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, because I think like the recorder did something. I didn't really pay attention to the.
So it's
TikTok
like
itself.
legal stuff, like
Yeah.
or like technicalities.
Yeah.
I hate when there's like when you have to have a retrial because of like verbiage
Yeah.
and stuff.
Well, I think it was like some lady did something and it could like influence the jury basically. Like I think like one of the court workers, I forget who it was.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Huh.
I didn't really pay attention, so I could totally have said that wrong, but that'd be a cool one.
That would be cool. That would take some time.
Yeah.
But I would be interested. So
But you got time.
I got time. All right. Let me get into this.
Do you even work?
No.
I
I work one more day.
That's so annoying.
All right.
I'm 5 days in a row.
Let me tell you this story.
Okay, sorry.
I'm going to tell you about a man that everyone called Chili.
Everyone's like 5 days in a row. Isn't that normal?
That's a good point. I'm like, I've worked 3 times this month.
Chili.
Chili, yes. We got a man named Chili. His real name is Nathaniel. I'm going to call him Chili because I just feel like he likes that.
It's cool.
Yeah, he's cool like that.
Is it chili like the food or chili like the sauce? I mean the spice.
Or like he's cool. I always thought like chill.
Ah, that's chill.
But I don't know. Well, anyways, so to everyone who knew he was Chili, we're going by Chili. In 1964, Chili opened a service station in northeast Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And this wasn't just like any service station. At the time, Chili Station is believed to have been like the first black-owned gas station in North Carolina, where obviously they didn't just pump gas. He owned land, bought it outright.
Dang,
all this stuff
dude.
for it. Yeah. So he's starting from the ground up. He's making a community here too.
Whoa.
Yeah. For nearly 40 years, like this Jones Chevron, so they will call it, was a fixture in that community. It was a place where Chili let people run tabs like when money was tight. Like he would sometimes like lend out some money to people who need it. People would come and just hang here. Like neighborhood kids are learning like skills here.
Wow.
Like rotating tires, changing oil. Like he is like the community figure around town.
Like the grandpa.
Yeah, he's everybody's grandpa. Everyone's coming around. Everyone's using it as like almost like community center. Like just as much as it was a business. Yeah. That's got to be the dream. You're like creating this place for like people to just come together and like learn skills, be in a good place, all that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. So Chili and his family had like poured themselves into this company, and he had like really close-knit family. Like his kids, his grandkids, they were all close by, all best friends. And like his grandkids and kids would come and like work the summer with him, like working at the service station. So he was the family figure that taught the rest of the family like work ethic, all that stuff.
I think I know who we're going to talk about, but I'm just going to write it down. I'd never heard this story, but for some reason I remember hearing about someone famous, something happening to their grandpa.
I'm curious.
Yeah. I'm going to write it down, though, so I can see if I'm right.
Okay.
Keep going.
Well, he was 61 years old. He was still active, still working, still the kind of man people kind of drove across town just to go see. Like, people wanted to hang out with this guy. On November 15th, 2002, Chili came home to his house on Moravia Street, I believe it's pronounced, in the East Winston-Salem area after running some errands. He was expected to meet some like painting contractors, it sounds like, that evening. Like, so he was anticipating guests. Like just the most basic thing ever, you know? So that was just his Friday night. He wasn't going to have any big plans. They weren't going to do anything crazy. He was just having over some contractors. So he pulled his Lincoln into the carport and got out. And someone was waiting for him. What happened next was brutal and quick. Chili was attacked the moment he got home. He was beaten in the head and face. His hands were bound behind his back with black tape. His mouth was taped shut. He was left face down in the carport next to his car. Terrifying.
Dead or alive?
Well, his attackers never even entered his house because this wasn't a break-in. It was just basically an ambush. So when police found him, his wallet was missing. But the weird thing is, that never really made sense because you automatically assume a robbery. There was like about $1,000 in cash sitting in his pockets.
Weird.
Yeah. Also crazy he had so much cash on him. but that was completely untouched. So if this was a robbery, whether they knew they left the money or not, it's not clear the motive. Defense attorneys would later point to that detail as like one of the many things that were like confusing about this case. But a family friend happened to drive by his house later that evening and noticed that Chili's Lincoln was parked in the carport with the brake lights still on. And he thought he saw a figure in the driver's seat. So like the whole thing was weird. He assumed it must have been like Chili's like family, or he thought actually it might have been like a grandson because he thought he looked small. So he thought that was kind of odd, but drove on. And it wasn't one of his grandsons. Someone was already in the car waiting. It must have been quick. When Chili was eventually found in the carport, he was rushed to the hospital, but the trauma to his body was too severe, and he actually died from a cardiac arrhythmia brought on by the attack.
Wow.
So Nathaniel, or Chili, was gone at 61 years old.
That's sad.
So sad. And so it's unclear to me. I believe that he was found deceased at the scene. But they did try and bring him to the hospital for it. So it's unclear to me if he was like dead at the scene or not. But regardless, he obviously didn't make it through this brutal attack. And another older man. So sad.
Lots of old people in our cases recently.
I know, which is like, I need to change that. Well, it's not that I want young people either, but all these innocent older people, it's so sad. So police canvassed the neighborhood, of course. They photographed footwear impressions left on the hood of Chili's Lincoln. Seems like an odd place, right? They pulled statements from everyone nearby, and for the first few days, they had nothing. No new evidence. Then came a phone call that kind of changed everything. A few days after the murder, a woman named Arlene Tolliver called the police. She told them that her son, a 15-year-old named Jamal, hadn't seemed right since the murder. She thought he might know something, which is so interesting. You rarely hear a mom call in on her son. So detectives went to find Jamal at his house, and they found him sitting on the front porch. So they took him in for a questioning. Problem is, took him in for questioning without mom, without a lawyer.
Well, mom told him to do it.
Yeah, but he's still young. He's 15.
Oh, true.
So it's like, yeah, you should go talk to him and tell him what you know, but also you should always have your parent with you if you're underage. From Jamal, investigators started pulling a thread that led to 4 other teenagers from the neighborhood. We have Nathaniel Couthen, his younger brother Ray Sean Banner, who was only 14 years old at the time, bizarre, and 2 others, Christopher Bryant and Dorrell Brayboy. So police also brought in a 16-year-old girl named Jessica Black, who I guess had been driving the boys around that night. So they have a total of 6 people 6 teenagers that they're investigating right now. During her interrogation, investigators told her that the victim's blood had been found in her car. That they told her that the boys had used Chili's debit card at an ATM, and they told her that she could be charged with murder. And unfortunately, none of that was true. Investigators lied to her to get her to talk, and eventually, of course, under pressure, she gave a statement that she drove the boys near Chili's house that night, saying that she heard banging and yelling from across the park, that one of the boys had what looked like a wallet in his pocket when he came back. Now, I have a hard time with these type of investigations, of course, especially when they're young, especially when they're impressionable, but threatening to be like charged with murder and stuff, like you can't be threatening kids like this, especially when they're not of an age to be under high scrutiny. Horrible. So all 5 teenagers, so not Jessica, all the guys were arrested. And because of that, all 5 gave confessions. So we have 5 confessions. And in 2004, 2005 era, that's like all you needed. Like, perfect. Thanks for letting me know. Boom, boom, boom. You guys are all goners. The brothers, Couthen and Banner, the last names, were convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison. The other 3 were actually convicted of second-degree murder and robbery. And the Winston-Salem Five, as they would come to be known, were going away for a long time. So, case closed, as it seems. For years, all 5 men maintained that they had nothing to do with Chili's murder after they confessed. It doesn't seem like it was that situation where they can just throw away a confession when they're going to trial, or anything like that. So at this time, as time passed, the case against them began to look weaker and weaker, as I've already kind of alluded to. So.
Alluded to?
Alluded to, yeah. Lured. So they literally all investigators had were confessions that were like weak. They didn't look into the forensics. So then they start pulling in forensics when they're like looking and trying.
They're like, oh no.
I know.
We messed up.
That must have been so hard at early 2000s though. Like they're so dependent on confessions during that time. I don't even know what kind of forensics they had. Obviously like fingerprint, footprint.
They had like some, I bet.
Yeah, some blood. I imagine like DNA
blood types.
was blood type for sure. Obviously they just didn't have like the programs to be able to like CODIS to be able to connect you to everybody.
Did they not?
I don't think CODIS was around until we had a case and I said what year CODIS was around. But maybe look that up because now I'm curious. Anyways, forensic experts later testified that the fingerprints that were lifted from Chili's car matched none of the 5. So, bad start right off the bat. DNA from the crime scene matched none of the 5.
Oh, man.
Continuing to look bad. 2 strikes.
Yeah.
The shoe print. The one physical evidence that seemed to connect them.
CODIS was launched in 1990. Okay. Initial pilot program. 1994, the DNA Identification Act formalized by the FBI. 1998, the National DNA Index System was officially operational. So I'm sure it was around, but it's just like not like
as accessible.
Yeah.
Also, I just remembered we were talking about phenotyping. Remember that word when we were talking about how they took DNA and made a person of like what they would look like? That's what I'm thinking of. And that was like later in the 2000s. Thank you. I'm a learner. Mm-hmm. Anyways, well, very interesting about CODIS. But yeah, it might not have been as common at this time. Probably more expensive, all that stuff. And like I was just saying, the one physical evidence that seemed to connect them, this like footprint, the shoe print, it was later testified that the shoe print was too common to prove anything. And the confessions themselves were like riddled with inconsistencies that didn't match the actual crime scene details, which is always frustrating. And I feel like at this time, they weren't recording interrogations the way they do now. And so you have kind of like a little bit of leading going on, it seems as though.
Yeah.
Well, then you have, on top of that, a forensic psychologist who evaluated the men and like test them for like their, like, see how they were mentally like, during the time of interrogations. And several of them had significant intellectual disabilities. So cognitively, these men were around like 8 to 10 years old rather than like the 14, 15-year-old that they brought in.
That's sad.
So then they're getting interviewed without their parents, without lawyers. They're told by detectives that they did this, that they're going to have the death penalty if they don't confess. And North Carolina had eliminated juvenile death penalty eligibility in 1987, and the police knew that, but the boys didn't. So how much worse, like, it's not even literally physically possible for them to get charged that, and yet threatening them with that.
Yeah.
So sad.
It's kind of why I just thought about, like, you need to know your rights, like, about, like, everything.
But also 14, 15 with, like, a younger cognitive, like...
I know, I'm just saying, like, in general. I'm not saying just that. I'm just saying, like, that's a good reminder.
Right. Well, that's what I was saying. It's like, it's so sad because, like, at that age, you're not even supposed to be worried about anything. But definitely it's important to know, like, guilty, not guilty, get a lawyer, find out what's going on.
Amen.
Well, even on top of all this, we got Jessica, the driver. She recanted her testimony, saying that she had lied, that she was so scared. She was under pressure from the detectives. And she just told them whatever they wanted to hear. There was no physical evidence in her car, even though they said there was blood in her car. And so the whole thing was a stretch.
Yeah.
The real question is, like, how are these convictions, like, still standing?
Yeah.
So in 2020, this is, like, 15 years plus after the murder of Chili. The North Carolina Innocence Inquiry Commission reviewed everything and found that there was enough evidence to move toward an exoneration hearing. So this is so long after, though. 15 years, these boys have been in jail this entire time, which is crazy. It's at such a young age. In 2022, a 3-judge panel heard the case and still upheld the convictions.
Jeez, that's crazy.
Isn't that shocking?
Yeah.
By then, 3 of the 5 men, so Bryant, Tolliver, and Brayboy, they had all actually finished their sentences and been released. So they're still looking to get exonerated just so it's scrubbed from their record, but it's not like it's getting them out of jail. Too. True. So it's not like it's getting them out of jail any sooner. They already completed it. But then they at least have like job prospects and such, which is so sad. And then on top of that, even sadder, one of these 3 boys, Darrell Brayboy, he was stabbed to death in a grocery store parking lot in 2019, like within a year after getting out of jail. Jeez. Yeah, so then he wouldn't have even ever known if he died exonerated or not.
Is East Side near Memphis?
I'm not quite sure. I haven't looked
at
Memphis.
Sketchy.
Yeah, which is so sad. And so he wouldn't even be able to see innocence regardless. The 2 brothers, Cawthon and Banner, they remained in prison because they were serving life sentences. They were held in separate facilities, so they hadn't even been under the same roof in like 18 years or something crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. In January 2025, so this is all kind of newer stuff. Last January, the new evidentiary hearing began. The defense brought forth 19 witnesses. They submitted more than 100 exhibits. And the state, like the prosecutors, they brought 0 witnesses, 0 new evidence. They had nothing to provide that points that these guys as guilty.
Dang.
Odd.
That's crazy.
Yeah. In August of 2025, Superior Court Judge Robert Brody, he issued a 33-page ruling. He vacated all the convictions. He dismissed all charges against all 4 living men with prejudice, though. So, obviously, that phrase matters. With prejudice means like, permanent. It means no retrial. It means this case is completely closed. And even if these 5 boys are innocent, no one else will ever be charged for Chili's murder again.
Weird.
Which I didn't even know that's what that meant.
Me neither.
Until I was looking into this case. Which was like... So shocking. It's like, so like, even if these guys are innocent, we're just not going to do anything to find Chili's murderer.
Yeah. It's probably like something to just relieve the detectives so they're not like, oh, we have another one now. It's like years later, like maybe they just move on, but it's sad.
Yeah. I mean, considering they seem to have lack of evidence in the beginning, I'm wondering if they're thinking maybe it'd just be so hard to pull like evidence. Yeah. But I don't know if they have any more forensics to work with. Yeah.
I was also just thinking maybe it also helps them where like they can't get retried. Something happens again, but maybe not.
But I mean,
maybe
if they could just be acquitted.
Yeah, but like that, maybe you can get retried if you were acquitted and then they found something wrong. I don't know.
I thought acquitted meant you can't jury, ever. Yeah.
Double jeopardy or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think acquitted means that you can't be charged again.
Carry on.
We don't know the technicalities, but what's sad, if these guys are innocent, is so the brothers packed their bags. Like, they're like, all right, we're out of here. Mom's got room for them. Also, imagine being the mom that, like, turned them in, and you're like, you guys were innocent? That's heartbreaking. So the mom had them ready. She hasn't seen them, like, out of jail in, like, 20 years at this point. Then the state filed an emergency appeal to block their release.
That would suck.
That's gotta be the most discouraging feeling ever. You're like, I'm out of here, just to go right back.
Yeah.
So these brothers were told to go back to their cells, and they had already like given away their belongings. They're already planning on moving out. Well, the North Carolina Court of Appeals denied the state's challenge in September 2025. So then the brothers packed their bags again, and then again October 1st. It was like a permanent stay. So they've been going back and forth with like the Supreme Court blocking their release while the appeal winds through the courts. So the attorney says this could take years for it to actually go through.
That sucks.
So it seems like they're going to get out, but it seems like it's going to be a long process for them to get out. As of this episode, the brothers are still in prison, like exonerated on paper, but incarcerated in reality.
Yeah.
Which is so interesting. Still locked up. And with the charges dismissed with prejudice, obviously, like I said, it means that they've like retired this case completely. So then whoever actually walked into that carport on Moravia Street and left Chili bound, beaten on the ground, will never face a courtroom for it.
Jeez, that's crazy.
Yeah, the real killer, if it wasn't the 5, if the 5 are innocent, has been walking free for over 20 years and always will be now.
Yeah.
which is insane.
Probably did something bad again. Maybe they're in jail.
I hope they're in jail.
Yeah.
And I wish that, like, it's so hard because obviously in 2004, we're always praising detectives like, oh, wow, they knew that they're holding on to DNA way before DNA was a thing, you know? And I don't know in this case if they have anything that they would have been able to work with. They have
Not like blood and stuff.
Yeah,
though.
they had blood. They had a shoe print. But the shoe print was Air Force ones.
It's like 99% people have
Yeah, exactly. And so that's why they said, like, it was such a loose... Like, you can't pin that on the boys because every single kid had Air Force. So, I just don't know if there would have been enough. But I know that I'm sure their family is pushing for it. Because Chili's full name was Nathaniel Frederick Jones, or Papa Chili to his grandsons. And his grandson was NBA player Chris Paul. You know that?
Okay.
Prove it. Yep. NBA player Chris Paul, who was 17 years old and still in high school when he lost his grandfather, who was, by all accounts, his best friend.
Dang, that's sad.
That's so sad. He grew up, like, in this area, pumping gas, rotating tires. He, like, learned what hard work looked like from Papa Chili. And I guess he says he carries Papa Chili everywhere he goes with him. Like, that, the lessons learned stay with him.
Yeah.
An interesting thing that I've heard this case, but I didn't know this detail. 5 days. Well, first of all, I believe Chris was told at a basketball game that his grandpa has been murdered. Yeah.
Jeez.
Absolutely devastating. The next game following his grandpa's murder, it was 5 days after the murder, and Chris obviously still gutted with grief. He wasn't sure if he wanted to play. Like, he wanted to miss a basketball game, which is a very reasonable thing to do. But his aunt found him before the game against Parkland High and suggested something. She said, you know what? How about 61 points? One for every year of Chili's life. And in his own words, his first reaction was like, oh, that'd be lovely. His second reaction was, ain't no way I can do that. Well, he went out and freaking did it.
Nice.
So I was like, in a high school game at West Forsyth High School, he got 61 points, and he was at a free throw line, intentionally missed the next free throw, and benched himself.
Nice.
And was out for the game. And he got 61 points for the 61 years that Chili was alive.
Dang, that's cool.
Isn't that so cool? I get, like, chills with that.
Yeah.
Like, that is so cool.
Yeah.
So Chris titled his memoir. I was like,
Memoir?
Yeah, that's not flowing off the tongue right now.
Yeah.
Memoir. He titled it 61 Life Lessons from Papa on and off the court.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know if you ever heard of the Club 61. Yeah, so he started Club 61, which is like a leadership program for young people.
That's cool.
Yeah, with the Chevron logo built into its design, like after his grandpa. So just kind of like that tribute to the station that they all grew up at.
Yeah.
You should look it up. It's like really cool. It's like he helps like mentor young kids like who have like aspirations in life and stuff.
Yeah.
So he contributes everything to Chili and the community that Chili held together for 40 years. And that is the case of Nathaniel Frederick Jones, or Papa Chili.
That's cool.
Chris Paul's grandpa. Yeah, very interesting. I first heard this case years ago. It's probably been like 4 years or something. And until I was recently, or when I was researching for this case, I had no idea that the 5 were exonerated. This whole time, I thought that it was these 5 kids until I saw the most recent update. And I was like, well, maybe they're innocent. So, what are you looking up?
True crime news.
Oh, well, before that, give me a keyword.
Chris Paul.
Chris Paul, CP3.
CP3, baby.
All right, CP3 keyword. And so anyways, it was kind of a different episode. Let me know what you think, if you thought it was fun having a little reveal. If you don't know who Kenny Chesney is or Chris Paul, then get a life. No, just kidding. No. But, so that was kind of shorter, kind of fun though. But despite the bad parts of the case. All right, Blake, hit us with it.
All right, welcome to another episode of True Crime News. Today on Siblings in Crime, a family massacre sentencing, a brutal college student stabbing, a cold case finally solved by a piece of gum, and a fugitive murder suspect captured at the border. All right, so New Jersey family massacre sentencing, and one of the most horrifying family murder cases in recent memory, Paul Canario, 59, was sentenced on May 19, 2026 to 4 life sentences without parole.
Wow.
Back in 2018, prosecutors say Canario murdered his brother, Keith's wife, Jennifer, and their 2 children, 11-year-old and 8-year-old, in Colts Neck. Maybe that's a place. Authorities say Paul then set the family's home on fire in an attempt to destroy evidence.
Wait, his brother's family?
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah, I don't know. Prosecutors argue the motive centered around money and family conflict after Keith allegedly confronted Paul about missing funds. During sentencing, the judge described him as a callous, heartless, brutal killer.
That checks out to me.
Yeah.
The whole family over some money, that's pretty insane.
Yeah. University students stabbed more than 40 times.
Oh my gosh. Tell me they weren't on a run.
A shocking attack near the University of Washington has terrified students. Police say 19-year-old Juniper Blessing was stabbed to death while doing laundry at an off-campus apartment complex on May 10th, 2026. This week, prosecutors formally charged Christopher Leahy, 31, with first-degree murder. Investigators say surveillance footage and tracking data placed Leahy at the scene both before and after the attack. Court documents reveal Juniper suffered more than 40 stab wounds in what prosecutors call an extremely violent assault.
Is it a crime of opportunity?
Probably.
Ew, that's disturbing.
Cold case solved by a piece of gum. After decades without answers, investigators finally crack a double murder case using DNA from a piece of chewing gum.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
That's what we're
we need to
talking
do
about.
that for Papa Chili.
Yeah. This week, a Washington State man was sentenced to 50 years to life in prison for 2 murders dating back to the 1980s. Police secretly collected discarded gum from the suspect during an undercover operation, then matched the DNA to evidence from the cold case. Families of the victims spoke in court about waiting decades for justice. Investigators called the breakthrough a reminder that modern forensic science can still solve even the oldest crimes.
I love that.
Yeah.
Scientists rock.
Yeah. Cold case number 13. California fugitive captured at the border.
Oof.
I don't know why I said cold case. In Tustin, authorities arrest a murder suspect who allegedly fled to Mexico after killing his ex-girlfriend. Police say the suspect shot the woman, a single mother, before escaping across the border. On May 18, 2026, investigators confirmed he was captured while allegedly attempting to re-enter the U.S. Why is he coming back?
Just be grateful.
Yeah.
He coming back?
He now faces murder charges as prosecutors prepare the case. And last but not least, murder charge in East Haven. A disturbing homicide investigation is unfolding in East Haven. Police say 69-year-old Donna Capanera was found dead inside her home after police officers responded to a 911 call with no response on the line. Authorities detained Sean McCormick, 56, who police say was found intoxicated inside the residence. Initially charged with assault, investigators later upgraded the charge to murder after Capanera's injuries were determined to be fatal. Police say the investigation remains active.
Wow.
Yeah.
We don't know the relationship between the two?
Mm-mm.
Huh. That's so scary when it's like, I'm so glad that police respond to unanswered 911 calls.
Yeah.
Because how sad to think that that's like her last action, probably trying to get help.
Yeah.
That's so scary.
Yeah. So these are still developing and new details come out to continue to emerge.
Wow.
For more real cases, weekly updates, and deep dives into the darkest stories making headlines, follow Siblings in Crime.
You never give us an update of the previous true crime news.
I'll start doing better.
That's funny. Well, that is all we have for this week. We'll be back next week with another episode of Siblings in Crime.
Adios.